Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, master propaganda heroes like Defender of the Fatherland, off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on Famous Mill approach. In the West, we got Dave fighting for America, freedom, and democracy, rolling out with the 2nd Armored Division here using Recon Support. And note this is from the December balance preview, so he's got some of all those new changed abilities. Versus in these, we got Siddolio fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, rolling out here with the 9th Panzer Division. He's got here Blitzkrieg, Lightning Wall, and Jaeger Infantry with triple infantry bulletin frame. Dave with double infantry and a grenade bulletin. Double rifle start here for Dave allows him to seize more territory aggressively. Well, not seize, right. Well, yeah, aggressively seize it. You can't seize it swiftly because he's gone for more re-echelons. Siddolio going for a much more slow approach towards the northern fuel point, setting up here in case he has to fight for around here to cover the fuel point there. MG40 following up, so it's a very much slower, steady approach there by Siddolio. Grenadiers following up, then looks like they were heading towards the centre of the map. Hiccup. Going points there, more riflemen setting out there for Dave. In the South Division heading for the fuel. Pretty quiet stuff here so far. Nothing particularly happening. But while here to further safety things up there, Siddolio is taking no chances versus Dave. No chances whatsoever. Second gunnery squad there running for Siddolio. Dave will soon be able to call in the 3rd rifle squad. Gunners getting to the door to the house here, setting up. We'll be able to engage the rifleman, but obviously with only one window they're able to fire back. It's not particularly effective sort of house there for Siddolio, and he quickly falls back there. He's ascertained the enemies there, but he's not going to be able to do much more. MD42 remains there, just covering. Northern victory point secured. Second gunnery squad around there for Siddolio. Dave continuing to hit south as well. 3rd rifle squad almost done there. And he's beginning to send slightly fall back there. Seems like he'd better off just focusing more on the north, securing it, and then trying to push southwards. Maybe sort of catch Dave off guard that way. But there you go. 3rd rifle squad out there. Rifleman sneaking about here through the south. Going to try and outmaneuver Siddolio's not going to shift more force northwards. MD42 moving in. And Dave there sneaking very southwards. Might try and take the point right next to Siddolio's base. Maybe force a reaction that way. There you go. Rifleman out in the open. MD42 was moving right about there. That's not so good. If Siddolio can think so, hits the rifle and avoid getting suppressed right away. Rifle flanking up behind it, going to go for the fuel point, and then use the sandbags against Siddolio. Follow Siddolio's work. Dave undoes it in a few moments here because Siddolio wasn't particularly careful there. Rifle finds suppressed. We got the rifle squad moving from the south here. 3rd grenadier squad there for Siddolio, falling out of the house now to help deal with the rifle there in heavy cover, cutting off Siddolio's fuel. Rifle moving in there. He's going to have to focus them down pretty fast before they clear out the MD42, which he can do of course pretty fast because they have a lot of firepower up close. There you go, forcing the MD42 back here, rifle close to getting focused on by the Grenadiers. And there we go, pushed away, but still a lot of damage done by Dave to Siddolio in a matter of moments. MD42 is going to enforcement, 3rd Grenadier squad sort of setting in there. Rifle there being focused down so he can deal with the remaining here, but that's going to mean that it's going to take him even longer to get that fuel point back. And there you go, rifle push back. Grenadiers sitting towards the centre. Other Grenadier squad moving in there. We got INR Pathfinders out here for Dave. MD42 reinforcing. Mortar out here for Siddolio and the 9th Panzer Division. So some pretty aggressive play there by Dave right away, putting some severe pressure on Siddolio again. He tried to set up for it, and then as soon as he does, moves away there, he just immediately gets hit, indicating of course he's jumping faster about the entire bloody thing. But there you go. Grenadiers are retreating, a very wise choice. And there you go, got the mortar out for Siddolio. Rearson's holding up in the south field, basically acting as a tripwire, thusly alerting Dave to anything there. Lieutenant there, so Dave's just going to go keep pressuring there with his early game. He's going to get even more aggressive. I'll also consider some 50 calibers to contain Siddolio's infantry. We shall see though which path Dave ultimately takes there. Hitting the point there. It's technically a cut, but there's not really much he's going to be cutting off. If anything, he's going to cut off nothing. Now setting up the MD42 more aggressively forwards here. Siddolio gets more aggressive, bolder here versus Dave. MD42 should go up on the right from there, except it's taking ages to get firing. And there he goes, shoots at the ones in heavy cover. There he goes, switches targets, good work. Up north here, Parnes needs to fall back. He's got the Pathfinders with the Lieutenant pushing in here. Back at base, we got no takeout for Siddolio, no additional machine guns or anything here to contain Dave's rapid advances up north. He's going to have to dispatch his Grenadiers, leaving the MD42 in the centre, a bit more on its own. And there you go, we've got Pathfinders going to get a kill there on Ludwig. A moment of weakness is all Joe needs to kill a crowd. Rather than they're suppressed, and there he goes, calling in artillery. Siddolio, can he make it out of there in time? Oh! That was close. House vanishes in a shower of dust and explosions. And there you go, Dave striking at the fuel point again. Siddolio might want to consider some mines. Oh, he's going for the cuff point instead, but also, some mines around here, some S mines, but I think do Siddolio quite good. Lieutenant's going to be called out, and Urban Morton needs to get firing right away. He's bombarding the point, I think. Oh, he's anticipating to dig in there instead, and perhaps Dave already anticipated that and just moved on to the next point, just cutting it off there while being in heavy cover still. Ambulance arriving for Dave. Riflemen continue to pour in, though some of them are pretty low health and low numbers, but for just harassment they might work out. Mortify, they're raining down the lieutenant. If not for this point, though, he would be entirely cut off. But thankfully, Siddolio has a bit more territory, so he's immediately not cut off from his field. Reasons remaining there. Could lay down some fighting position and move elsewhere, to be honest. Ambulance out, and we got here grenade. Oh, cancel the grenades. Grenades. Not entirely sure what he's planning there. Might be weapon racks, or perhaps he's setting up for something else instead. Siddolio, no, though, has an advantage since most of Dave's forces are being pulled back for healing reinforcement. Siddolio takes a chance to push any squad here for lightning wall by the way, opening up for D43 for his grenadiers. Relief infantry, tactical movement, air support, and of course the Tiger tank. But there you go, like to make a nice company up for Siddolio. Needs to push yet swiftly though. MD42 also advancing. Panzer Grenadiers, or maybe a 2-2 or some half tanks he could do. I think Siddolio quite a bit of good there versus Dave, make it harder for Dave to advance. Dave, despite having gone for the platoon command post, they're so far not showing any signs of actually utilising it. So one wonders what exactly Dave is planning there. He's also slowly closing on the newly changed airdrop combat group. Dave does like paratroopers, so he might be planning on setting up for that and calling in some of those new fancy paratroopers with that one. Grenadiers, MD42 shifting about. There you go, we got Pathfinders pressuring them. And MD42 trying to do the push here towards the fuel point. Dave strikes ruthlessly and remorselessly. We got the 2-2 on the way there to help deal with some more of Dave's infantry. Good choice there. Pathfinder's team with the Grenadiers right from moving from the north here. Siddolio's lines are completely scattered and just Dave swooped through them. So right now Siddolio is forced to abandon the field there in the south, but we've got some pioneers trying to push ahead. 2-2 almost down there for Siddolio and the German army mortifying where they're trying to get some kills in. Not entirely sure where the mortar bombs are supposed to go, but there we go, on the lieutenant. Doing some damage, but nothing serious there as of yet. Medic bunker up there for Siddolio, 2-2 arriving, but he's quickly losing territory, he's quickly losing ground everywhere to Dave as Dave just sort of swoops in. Grabbing the northern victory point in there, cutting that away from Siddolio. But there you go, 2-2 to the rescue, strikes with autocannon rounds and cracks from machine guns, forcing away those Yankees. But we've still got one rifle squad here, making it harder for Siddolio to get to the fuel point. In the south, yes, and successfully push back the pioneers. As for Davey, got nothing further going on the base, no weapon racks. Instead, he is pushing straight ahead here for medium armor. With the battalion command post upgrade, Davey is just rushing ahead on the back of the lieutenant, the Pathfinders and everything else to just keep pressuring Siddolio. And of course he can get away with it in Papikov, thanks to the Doctor now again offering a cheap airdrop combat group which gives an anti-tank gun. In fact, at a pretty fat discount when you consider everything. I mean, he's going to be able to push it pretty aggressively without having to worry about him, being completely caught off guard by some kind of vehicular or even by sheer long shots and armored rush by Siddolio. So I mean, it's a pretty safe choice there. Got the 2-2 running about looking for targets to blast apart. Rifleman spotted, grabbed the northern victory point or fuel point back, got the MD42 covering it. Now the MD42 would be a bad choice there for Siddolio to help contain some all of Dave's infantry. Panzer Grenadiers would eventually also be an idea, I think. We got second light machine gun up there for Siddolio's Grenadier here. There you go, shifting cover. Mortar is advancing up as well, then in a more aggressive position to be able to cover against some of Dave's troops. So of course with that heavy machine gun team to cover it, it could theoretically be rushed. And he wouldn't be any otherwise. We got the MD42 falling back a bit here. It's clearly where it's going to get, caught off guard somewhere there, so to a safer position he moves it. Will be less likely to be unpleasantly surprised by the Americans. Not a bad move as such. But there we go. Siddolio now beginning to extend his feelers into Dave's territory. We got Lieutenant trying to in the MD42 in heavy cover, mortar firing down. We got Rough Grenade attempted here, and doing quite well. Got MD42 to fall back. He needs the 2-2 up there to support immediately, but the 2-2's remaining then alongside the Grenadier squad. He's wiring off the tank track with David all the way off from one side already. MD42 up the lieutenant, but he's losing the fuel point in the north. Rierson's flank behind it. Grenadiers trying to defend the mortars. We've got Rifleman and Major pushing in from the front. Needs where's the 2-2 all of a sudden? Oh, it's there. Moving into the Rierson using suppressive fire. Getting rather chaotic here, rather hectic. MD42 being flanked there by Rifleman. Dave just keeps up the pressure unceasingly against Siddolio. Just attacking. And Siddolio is desperately trying to maintain control here. Just firing wherever he can. Getting some kills here and there though. Rifleman being bled out. Got the southern fuel point, but he is cut off from it. Getting pretty tense here, pretty tense. 2-2, they're doing what they can. Pantagrueliers or some half-tracks, I think, could also about Siddolio, or even another 2-2. What Siddolio goes for, though, is a second mortar. It's an interesting choice. They've seen more Wehrmacht players going for double mortars as of late. Well utilised, of course, it can be quite impactful, though. If you go for it too soon, you do risk losing map control, but it can be surprisingly effective. And there you go, we got Dave with the paratrooper and anti-tank and Cole in there. Opening up his arsenals quite more aggressively. Pathfinder signing out. Pioneer's going to do his quick rations to clear that. 2-2 could assist. But he definitely needs to just seize a lot of territory. Although, of course, he really should consider another MD42 just to sort of provide more lines of fire to hold down to the Yankees. But there you go, double mortars, meaning if Dave sort of sticks around for one position for too long, he could risk total annihilation, as it's mortars they can lay down an impressive amount of death there in one spot very quickly. So that is something Dave needs to be mindful of, and of course it might cause Dave to be more, well, mindful, but also more perhaps prone to make mistakes. He tries to factor it in, which could be helpful there for Siddolio. We'll see how helpful it ultimately works out being now. Pack 40 understand this. Siddolio's got no illusion as to how this is going to go in terms of armor and vehicles, but there you go, though. Dave actually goes for the Greyhound, so that's going to delay any tanks. You also got the paratrooper support squad there with double bazookas, no light machine guns, instead turning into an anti-tank team to help deal with the 2-2-2. Troops healing reinforcing. Siddolio needs to put more pressure in the north. He needs to be careful he doesn't get too focused on the centre of the map. Pack 40 sending out Canadians, Pioneers healing. And we got the Greyhound out there. Primary reconnaissance vehicles for the USF forces. We got attempted cancer around there, but there you go, Pack 40 penetrating it. Mortar pushed back, repairing the 2-2, rather than grabbing the northern fuel point again. We got a second Pioneer squad by the way here for Siddolio. Mortar on it, getting grenaded there by Dave's paratroopers, but the heavy cover in this case turns out to be a lifesaver. Big push here from Siddolio. In the north, we got guys trying to push up against the field with their rifle taking fire. Mortars pull back for healing reinforcement. Even this German infantry moves ahead without any mortar support against Dave, who's yet to go for any artillery himself. Push them off the northern fuel pump. There's plenty more where there's about there, so that could easily put some pressure on Siddolio. Mortars need to be at least, I think, slowly further advances while sticking close to the medic bunker. More mortar fine before setting up the lieutenant out in the open. Need to get the 2-2 in there. There we go. Arrives just in time. Pushing them out into the front of the MD42. There goes the present lieutenant. Push them away. Grenadiers push back. A lot of mortar fire there. Could also have maybe wiped out the lieutenant, but that might have left the MD42 a bit exposed. And there go training the rifle. 2-2 moving in, but it's going to be within range. Oh, no. Dave immediately retreated because he's out of munitions. So there we go. Siddolio strikes and pushes back Dave there, leaving a large chunk of the map there unguarded. But can Siddolio seize it fast enough? And he should also consider taking up soon. Troops healing reinforcing here for Dave. We got the weapon racks unlocked there. We got the fuel points being secured. Other points secured as well. 2-2 patrolling. And he's moved straight on to the victory point as well. Very good work there. Mortars need to be set up, I think, in a good position. And up here, Grenadiers running straight to Dave's vanguard here. The paratroopers and the rifle, noting by losses iron our pathfinders at some point. 2-2 doing what he can there to Yankees. Keep firing, Rudolph. We need as many Americans dead as possible. And he's about to panzer fast the M8. Rather than they're getting blasted and cooked, forcing them away there. Grenadiers getting wiped, a bit of a loss there for Siddolio. He is taking out there, go Pack 45 on the Greyhound, almost taking out there, rather than getting blasted really, but the 2-2 intense fighting here. Mortars just keep firing away, but so far actually having incredibly limited impact. So far the double mortars have only scored 1 kill together. So that is not encouraging enough for Siddolio, despite having invested so much resource into it. And of course the question might be, would it not have benefited more from another MT-42 to create more zones of control? Pathfinder or paratroopers setting about to hit the fuel point there. M4 setting up, there will be in time there to get off some shots. And there you go, just happens to be there. Got a grenade off though in time on the MT-42, almost wiping out the entire thing, but it does force the paratroopers to retreat. That Dave does not risk it. Additional grenadiers, but no panzer grenadiers here for Siddolio. Ground's going to need some repair. Sherman on the way there for Dave. You got the grenadier hitting the 50 caliber machine. Oh, going for the ambulance. A bold choice there, but not necessarily a bad one. Need to fall back before it gets with a damaged engine right in front of all that hardware that could easily punch several larger holes in it. Should consider grabbing this point and also this point, and he should also think trying to extending more pressure into the south. He actually got David and entertaining the south, just using it to grab territory. So if Siddolio represents something in the discovery, he might be able to clear it out and steal it back. Sherman almost done there for Dave and the 2nd Armoured Division. A lot of mortar fire. Grenadiers sitting slowly southwards and taking their positioning. I think Siddolio just needs to be better just rushing straight for the field instead of trying to secure a path towards it. I mean, just being able to harass and cut it off could still do a lot of good there for Siddolio, whereas Dave is actually pretty good at that. Smoke string down there just in case there's a Pack 40 about. Dave taking no chances, very good. Paratroopers aiming for the Northern Victory. 0.9 enough forces from Siddolio immediately to support. But he's actually managed to gain some kind of semblance of control back on the battlefield. So Paul McCall, I think, should be a priority now, and then getting out some Stooks as fast as humanly possible. Dave just continues to harass, consider, you know, frustrate and confuse Siddolio as much as possible. No mortar fire here. Still 1 kill and 1 mortar, and the other one again with nothing. They are not having too much luck there with supporting Siddolio's frontline forces so far. Eventually, I mean, they should begin doing some killing, but so far it's a bit limited, the effect they're sort of directly having. I mean, indirectly, of course, they might be forcing Dave to be more careful and all that, but sort of in terms of actually, you know, doing harm, they're not quite pulling their weight yet. Laying down telemines, but he's likely going to get spotted there, and there we go. Telemine goes off, doesn't actually harm the pioneers at all. Ah, it was good. I was wearing my telemine proof underpants. Yeah, it's a very good source. Should opening up there, got the Sherman. He might go straight into Siddolio's base there, though. Smoke string down under the area around the Pack 4 machine guns, very good. OD to run from the Sherman, takes a big hit and gets raked with 50 caliber fire, finishing off the rifleman lieutenant being suppressed, mortared, and other nasty things here. But Dave has successfully pushed back Siddolio into his base once more. We got the Grand Marine attacking the MD-42, which is really exposed. Panzer on the way for Siddolio, not a Stu, but he's aiming straight for the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Not entirely sure that was the most immediately wise decision. Once more Dave strikes, and once more Dave tightens the noose. That looks a bit cramped. Hey, Carl, stop standing on my legs. It's the only way I can fire this machine gun, Sarge. Panzer on the way there, almost here for Siddolio. And we got artillery called in, I think, by Dave's Major. Yes, indeed. Plus a grenade just in case. But there you go. Panzerkampf and Fiat mobilized here for Siddolio. Greyhound roaming about. Got those double mortars hammering away. 5 kills, alright. At least something's starting to happen there. In particular, the veterans, I imagine, is having a bit of a help than just, you know, making it less, you know, waste of manpower. But they have been out for quite some time, and again, they get to only rig up that much. Need to be careful that Panzer IV, though. Siddolio needs to do some more harassment in the south. I mean, he's got plenty of pioneers, which have even thought just, you know, sneaking some there all the time. Got the anti-tank gun. Then we got a smoke screen down here, and it's once more from Dave Sherman. Then good use with smoke throw ability there. Oh, gun is buying straight to a grenade, but dodges the worst of it. Splendid stuff. Alright, there we go. Actually got a kill. That's still only the first mortar that actually managed it. Second one has still only done a bit of damage to some scrap knees and whatnot, but no actual kills. There we go. Finally scored a kill. Finally scored a kill. And there we go. Some more aggressive harassment in the south there from Siddolio, hitting the victory point. Good. Panzer Norfolk rifle being pushed back. And a second Pack 40 for Siddolio. He's certainly feeling like he's being outnumbered armor-wise, and that certainly makes a lot of sense. And it's certainly not a bad assessment either, so the second Pack 40 should help though. Another MD42, considering all of the infantry Dave has, would also be a strong choice. And, you know, probably would have done him more good than that one extra mortar, but we'll see. I'm pushing Norfolk here with the Grenadier Strange, have 50 cover waiting there. No smoke support, no nothing. And there you go, both squads are pressed, and the centre Panzer IV dueling out with the Sherman. And it's already down to less than half health. The entertaining, they're having quite an impact as well. And I imagine the Greyhound might also have some fun with the Panzer IV. Up north, though, finally managed to outmaneuver here. The 50 cover pushing away, opening up the victory point. They should still get the field point back, and he should also, as soon as possible, get a Stuttgart. As for Dave, he's following up with more Shermans here with the 2nd Armoured Division, emptying its armour pool to support the assault here against the Germans. And we got beer yards being handed out there in larger quantities now. Further making things more tricky there for Siddolio's infantry. Options for a Tiger here for Siddolio, but waiting out for that one right now I think would be a tactically and strategically poor choice. I mean, later down the road it could be helpful. But you can see in the situation that he might risk just being heavily outnumbered by the time he then gets a Tiger if he doesn't have sufficient armor pressure on the field. And right now I do think he should be prioritising the Stug. He needs more raw firepower. And we got the cluster bombs down here, the M83 cluster bombs. In fact, a lot of people have been complaining about them, you know, just being, you know, copies of the butterfly bombs from companies run. Here's the thing. That's not a thing you have to complain to Relic about. That's something you have to complain to the US Army about, because they straight up copied the butterfly bombs and just call it the M83 cluster bomb. So yeah, an exact copy, as it turns out. Had to look that one up, but yeah, basically that's the case. The Americans just straight up copied the design. Great hit there from the anti-tank and the Panther IV, going straight here for the Greyhound. Rifleman taking losses, going for the victory point in the centre, grabbing the fuel point here in the east. Another nasty hit. Find the pioneers up north. You got 2 Shermans hanging about. They're posing quite a significant threat there to Siddolio up north. Panther IV moves in, hits the shit instead, destroys the shit, but you know the Panther IV's pretty okay. So there's the Sherman. There you go. More smoke being laid down. He needs to cover the Panther IV. They need to be careful. Shot bounced there, but it's getting pretty close there for Siddolio's Panther IV. He does get the Sherman there, even with the smoke. It's quite not covering the Pack 40. Gonna need to be careful. Got another smoke shooting down. Oh dear, the Sherman might just get away. She's vomiting smoke all over the place, creating a massive fog here, which Siddolio can't shoot through. He's trying to catch, he's not quite working out. Another Sherman through the smoke, going for that Panzer IV. He's blitzkrieging out, they know he has to get out of there pretty fast. The Pack 40s can't cover up, they got a Grey moving in. Misses the Panzer IV. Panzer IV gains veterancy too. Where are the Stugs, Siddolio? There are the Stugs. Pack 40's been flanked here by the Greyhound. Sherman down to half health. But both Shermans look like they will be escaping the wrath of the Wehrmacht. Good work there by Dave. Siddolio continues to be contained here by Dave, though. His mortars are beginning to pick up a bit more, though. They are beginning to pick up. The problem is just with the increasing number of tanks, though. That's not going to be particularly helpful against those tanks. Still, Siddolio is able to preserve his own Panzer IV, so that's something. And if you get two up going there, he might have a chance there. But still, he needs to be a bit careful. He still needs to harass more in the south. He's just so completely focused in the centre in this part. He's just so defensive. It's allowing Dave Morris to just manoeuvre around him. And again, the lack of harassment in the south is really not helping out Siddolio either. Greyhound there in front of the Grenadiers. Panzer IV advancing with hack support. They need to be careful still. And there goes second Panzer IV running for Siddolio. And the 9th Panzer Division. With 2 Panzer IV and 2 Pack 40s, he could try and, you know, hang out for a Tiger tank and sort of then put Dave to task. We had a Greyhound heading south as it just begins to harass in the south rather than fortunate for Siddolio. Jackson on the way for Dave. There you go, paratroopers ambushing. The bazooka's getting crushed, they're getting shot by the Panzer Force. Also doing some damage there. We got the Shermans moving in, they need to pull back the Panzer Force. We got 1 Pack 40 ready to cover retreat here, not bad, but he needs to pull back the Panzer IV. Anti-tank and almost got it. But there you go, Pack 42 able to shoot, there you go. Sherman almost taking out in return, but the Panzer IV taking heavy damage. We got both take aim and everything else have been fired at the Panzer IV. There you go, just notice that range. Most people just never use that ability, but again, it gives the anti-tank gun the longest range of any non-doctrinal anti-tank gun. The other ones that have that is the Pack 43s. Tossing, you know, the ability to fire armor-piercing rounds and just a side rate of fire, that can actually make an American anti-tank gun really, really nasty. That was quite unpleasant there for Siddolio, but he's bleeding out victory points fast. We've got a Greyhound striking in from the south here. Pack 40 turning about to open up the Greyhound. 200 points left for Siddolio. Got the Major, the rifle suppressed there. And there goes smoke screen from the Lieutenant on the MG42. Both parties had to work at the non-veteran Panzer IV, the veteran those keeping up the work against the Yankees. Got a Jack moving for the Panzer IV, need to pull back, And we got another series of cluster bombs out here from Dave against Siddolio's front. Causing quite the blow up there. Siddolio, I think they can't afford to go for the Tiger route, as you're probably going to have to push up for his Duke supports Panzer Force. And he also needs to just do something different here against Dave, because the problem is he's just saying to Dave, but Dave is ready for it. He needs to try and outmaneuver Dave, which of course is pretty tricky, but I think it's his best choice here. He's beginning to send armoured forces southwards, but you know, he needs to be careful not to send in piecemeal, because it's going to make it easy for Dave to deal with it. Jackson opening up. Why is he sending in his Panzer IV alone against that? What are you doing, Siddolio? Panzer IV fixed up, halfway to veterancy 3, and we got the Stug on the way there for Siddolio. Good. Very good. Sending up the Pack 40s northwards. Once more, Siddolio strikes north. not entirely sure he's playing with the Panther Force. He's planning to get the ambulance. David's already seen through that. Quickly pulls back the ambulance further into the base here. Siddolio needs to be careful there. Ah, shit. There we go. Wipes the resistance. A small victory there for Siddolio. Small victory. Took advantage of something there from Dave, leaving his center unexposed. And there you go. Got the Stuka riding for the German army. Right there versus Pioneers. We got the Panther Force win. They're both mace machine guns, so they might have better luck. And there you go. Jackson engaging the Panther Force from the front. Defensive front remains there, going to make it hard for Siddolio to push through. South seems to be the easy target because that's mostly moving elements. Of course, the Czech is heading at the sufficient force. Knit's moving in there, but without anti-tank support, it's going to be pretty weak. There we go, we got the Pack Force, we've got the Stroop moving up. Panther Force, what is Siddolio doing? It seems like he's just doing a bit about. There we go, Jackson opens from the Stroop, gets a good hit. Panther Force could try and catch it off guard and destroy it. There we go. Hit there on the Jackson from the Panther Force. Second one moving in. He's blitzing. He's blitzing. Misses the Jackson. Jackson hits the Panther Force. And then it immediately pulls the back close, eventually feed it. Heading for the southern field point. Area here is actually pretty unguarded. Dave could easily make a push, then set up a pressure point here behind Siddolio's front line there, which would be really, really unpleasant for Siddolio. He's moving up the Pack Force a bit close to the front line. That is good. That is actually desperately needed. You should also consider now he's got some munitions to throw down some mines here and there to make it harder for Dave to counterattack. And he's got no minesweeper, so tell him on the right place could prove critical for Siddolio's survival and the survival of Germany. Okay, and there with 17 kills, certainly had quite an impact there versus Siddolio. And we got another Sherman for Dave. Another Sherman. There's going to be having 3 Shermans and a Jackson versus 2 Panzer Force and a Stug. Should just get to work and fix everything, including the highly veteran Panzer Force. Should probably one of his priorities. You should probably also consider moving it more to support the front line a bit better. Dave sitting in from the north though. Oh dear, we got a machine gun bunker down there. I think it's the wrong spot to do it in though. I mean, the problem with this car point is it doesn't particularly guard much. And the bunker got destroyed before we could cover it. There you go, Dave sits in here, Pack 40 and up. Gets destroyed by the Sherman flank there. Very good flank by Dave. Sherman takes some hits there, but ultimately not enough damage from Siddolio. Wasn't quite ready for that kind of move there. Penny had forgotten about the Sherman up north, and Dave was more than happy to remind him of it in the right time. Crewing the Pack 40, stealing away there from Siddolio under his nose. There we go, wipes the crew. But most of his armor still damaged, sending out his Pioneers to get murdered. There you go, Jackson up the Panther 4. Need to fall back. There's Siddolio, need to fall back. Work so. Scheiße, we got the HP rounds off as well, increasing the damage and the penetration, making it hard for the Panther 4 to survive. There you go, blitzes away. Another Panther 4 taking hits there. Looking pretty bad for Siddolio. And there we go, he's a tank from the north there, beginning to punish Siddolio for forgetting about it and leaving his flank exposed. He's forced to fall back with all his armor, which is under heavy threat. We got relief infantry on there for Siddolio. There you go, Sherman tank forwards. Panther 4 bounced. He moving in his veteran Panther 4. There you go, got one Sherman, His armor pool is still heavily damaged. He failed to repair it in time, so they're still pretty weak. There you go, Stug down. Almost lost the Panther 4. He's only got his ace left. The Pack 40's in a bad spot. His infantry is being rushed back and forth here. Desperately trying to escape with veteran Panther 4. And there you go, the Jackson gets it. Just to hit the ace level. Damage ending the Sherman. Grenadiers pushing forward, getting suppressed by the 5th Copper now, parking itself right outside Siddolio's base. Big push here from Siddolio, but yeah, his Tiger plan is out. He has to just go for a lot of Stuks. Of course, he might have just been better going for more armor in the meantime, just to pick up what he got. The second Stuk could probably change out this engagement a lot there, but this wasn't entirely bad there going for the Stuk there, but also the Tiger, but he was still heavily punished there by Dave, partly because again he left this part of the area exposed. No mines, no nothing, and no line of sight. But also he pushed his Pioneers too far ahead fast instead of fixing up and finishing the repairs on the Stug and the other Panzer Force, ensuring that once the fighting began, there'd be easy targets with Dave's armor. And he only lost a single tank in the process, compared to Siddolio, who lost his veteran Panzers, his Stug, and his remaining Pack 40. So that was pretty much a critical blow there to Siddolio. But he's got most of the map now. He's even sent troops north, but the problem is, can he hold it for much longer against Dave? Can he hold it? Got 50 cover then man by Ostrom. That should help a bit. Mortar firing down against Dave's troops as they push ahead here for America, freedom and oxygen. There you go, straight into 50 caliber. Troops flanking in from the north. Mortar fire not landing particularly well despite being very veteran. MG4 covering up here. Suppressing the veterans of 3 paratroopers. 50 caliber rushed away. Need to get more troops onto the field. Second Stug almost done there. Veteran 3 on the second mortar. Graham with the 19 kills. Certainly seems to be performing a lot better with the changes. Rolling in, disrupting the Grenadiers. There goes Stug opening up the Greyhounds. Quickly out the anti-tank, will certainly help him out a bit. Stug, they're taking heavy damage. There you go. Got the anti-tank and Panzerfaust with Jackson might have up, but he's about to lose. The Stug need to fall back with it. Second Stug moving up, and if you can crew the anti-tank and turn against Dave, that'll obviously help. There you go. We got double 50 calibers, raining down death here, preventing any push ahead. They're very aggressive, very nasty. Nice pushing in the Stug there on its own with no support, straight into the Jackson and the Sherman. And the other Stug has not been repaired either. There you go. One Stug down, second Stug about to go down there. Dave's got barely any troops left. But Siddolio's got no anti-tank now after this. And Siddolio's just driving straight. Oh, Dave's driving splat. Dave is driving straight to Siddolio's base, wreaking havoc, cutting down infantry left and right, sawing them apart. And there you go, GG from Siddolio. And with this, Siddolio surrenders, a loss for the German army, victory here for the USF, displaying the power of the new Recon Support company. Dave, I think, more or less make use of ability except for raid tactics, certainly putting it to aggressive use. Was an overall just really keeping down to. I mean, Siddolio did make some mistakes. He wasn't particularly good at sort of controlling the map. His map control was at times weak. He, I think, also had a weak force composition. I mean, the double mortars, while increasing more play, and in this case, didn't particularly work out for him. And I think he would have better off with more machine guns. Then he could have maybe followed up with more mortars once the more troops they could actually hit without having to worry about it just moving about constantly. I also feel like, you know, he should have gone for more Stugs earlier on to actually push back the armed advantage. Then he could push back Panzer Force, or even the new Ostwind, which I think would have done Siddolio a lot more good. And then he maybe could have played for the Tiger. But there's also just the other tactical errors he kept making there, which would have made it easy for Dave. But Dave was just also very aggressive all over the place and just constantly seeking out flanks to hit and just looking for any sign of weakness to sort of punish Siddolio force. I mean, it was also just a case of just Dave playing extremely well. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If you've liked what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links are in the video description. Of course, a big thanks to all those who do pledge, and all those who have donated so far. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another signing episode. This is Imperial Dane signing off. Cheers, everybody.